Okay, so welcome. Here I'm going to present some information about introduction paragraphs. Okay, the hook. The opening sentence of any essay is called the hook. A hook in writing is used to engage the readers in the subject and keep their attention throughout the essay. Think about the hook while you read the next essay. You will learn more about the hook later in this unit. So watch in this example for the hook. We see here we have the title, July 13th, 2013, and we have two words that are defined. Steamy, meaning very hot and humid, and to struggle, to try to do something difficult. So it says, the house was quiet. With this sentence, the writer has attempted to capture our attention to see what is going to happen on this quiet day, July 13th, 2013. It continues. The house was quiet. Of course it was. For everyone. Of course it was, for everyone was napping on that steamy summer day. Normally, I would hear my little brothers screaming and playing, and my older sisters chatting on their cell phones. But on that day, everything was still. I recall that the temperature that day was 52 degrees Celsius outside, which was hot even for us who live in the desert. The only sound I heard was the air conditioning struggling to keep the rooms cool. I was bored and tried to think of something to do. Then the doorbell rang and my life changed forever. Okay, so in this one, the writer attempts to hook with a little bit of information about in hopes that we wonder why the house was quiet before we continue reading. And it's almost like we have a second hook at the end here. Then the doorbell rang and my life changed forever. This paragraph is the first paragraph in an essay titled The Urban and Rural Divide. So there's some things here that are defined. Rural, related to the country. A dweller, a person who lives in a place, right? A resident. Regardless of, in spite of. Notable, important, or worthy of notice. The degree is another way to say the amount, and the pace is another way to say the speed or the rate. Wary means cautious or suspicious. So let's see this first sentence. That one's not going to work. The hook reads, imagine life in Tokyo. Okay, so this is the writer's attempt to capture our interest and make us think about something before the topic continues. Okay, here, so final, and then this one says, why is that? So this one says, imagine life in Tokyo. And then I know the next one says, I think it says, imagine life in the country in Japan. Okay. And then it continues, finally, picture life in Cairo, Egypt. Which of these last two places is more different from Tokyo? Many people might mistakenly choose Cairo because it is not found in Japan. However, city dwellers all over the world tend to have similar lifestyles, so the biggest differences are found between Tokyo and its smaller neighbor. Urban people and rural people, regardless of their country, live quite differently. Perhaps some of the most notable differences in the lives of these two groups include the degree of friendliness between residents, the pace of life, and the variety of available activities. Okay, we're going to look at one more example here. So in this composition, the title is Cancer Risks. Okay, and let's read the hook. It reads, lung cancer kills more people in 1 year than all criminal and accidental deaths combined. Okay? So you might be able to imagine that this would capture the interest of the reader and want them to continue reading this paragraph. Okay, so writing the introduction. As you know, the introduction is the first part of an essay, usually the first paragraph. The introduction does not have to be written first, however, just like I always suggest to you. And today you've already written your body paragraphs, So you're going to be writing your introduction after you've written your body paragraph. Some writers design and write this part of the essay last or at another point in their writing process. From the basic outline that follows, you can see how the introduction fits into the essay. Part 1, introduction, usually 1 paragraph. Part 2 is the body, 1 to 4 paragraphs. And Part 3 is the conclusion, usually 1 paragraph. There are many ways to write an introduction. Some writers begin with a question. Other writers give background information about the topic. The kind of introduction you choose depends on how you want to present the topic and the kind of essay you decide to write. Okay? What is the introduction? The introduction for most essays is 1 paragraph. This introductory paragraph usually consists of 3 parts. The introduction paragraph has the hook, connecting information, and the thesis statement. Now look at each of these parts to see what they are and how they work in the introduction. Okay, so let's concentrate now on the hook. When you have a graphic organizer for the introduction paragraph, you're going to see that's the first sentence, the first part of the introduction paragraph. The hook is the opening statement or statements of an essay. Just as people use a hook at the end of a fishing pole to catch a fish, writers use a hook to catch the reader's attention. If a hook does its job well, a reader will stay with the essay and want to read the rest of it. The hook is the one part of an essay where you can be as creative as you want. We will look at 5 different types of hooks. Ready? 5 different types of hooks. Number 1, a question. Number 2, an interesting observation. Number 3, a unique scene. Number 4, a famous quotation. And number 5, a surprising or shocking statistic. So these are 5 different types. Your hook will be one of these. You'll choose one anytime you write a composition. Okay? Okay, so let's look at them now with examples. So a question. Here's a question. How many people begin their mornings every day by checking their phone? An interesting observation. A high school diploma is not the end of many people's education these days. A unique scene. The house was quiet. That's one of the examples we read. So that's an example of a unique scene. Imagine life in Tokyo. Right? That's another one that we read. So you're imagining something unique. A famous quotation. I have a dream. Okay? And if you include a quotation like this, right, it's likely that you're going to continue with related information afterwards. So if you say, I have a dream, for many young people, their dream is to attend college. Okay? You might start with a surprising or shocking statistic. That's the one that we saw about cancer, right? Lung cancer kills more people in 1 year than all criminal and accidental deaths combined. Okay. Connecting informations. This is the second part, remember, after the hook. After the hook, the writer usually writes connecting information, which is 3 to 5 sentences that help connect the reader to the topic. These sentences can be background information about the topic, or they can be examples. So in this one is titled An Alternative to University Education. We're going to read this connecting information. Okay. It starts with the hook. A high school diploma is not the end of many people's education these days. So from this part here begins the connecting information. High school students who want to continue their education generally choose one of 2 routes after graduation. So this information isn't anything groundbreaking or earth-shattering, okay? It's just sort of general information about the topic that you're telling your reader. Some students opt to attend a community college and then transfer to a university, while others go directly to a university. Making this difficult choice requires a great deal of careful thought. However, if the choice is based on 3 specific factors, namely cost, location, and quality of education, students will quickly see the advantages that attending a community college offers. Okay? So today, if you want to review this presentation at any point, I'll upload it to YouTube. So you can look for more information and examples of hooks. I'm going to ask you to spend some time writing and planning your essay, and you can also try, to write a hook for your, for your topic, okay, for your social media argument. Choosing one of these 5 different types, okay, to hook your reader.